Welcome to show. I am Clint, and I am here with
Devo
and Lucho.
And we are here today. We're going to be talking about Doom.
Yes, so we're talking about the new Doom 2016 multiplayer beta.
Yes.
Gooch, you texted us probably a couple days ago saying that you had just gotten into the beta.
Yeah.
And my gaming PC's down at the moment, so I tried to see if it was on PS4. Apparently it is on PS4 and Xbox One.
Xbox One, yeah.
Yeah, so I installed the Doom beta. It's a multiplayer beta, and there are two modes for PS4 version at least. Team Deathmatch, and then what's it called?
I don't know. There's three. There's like four modes on
Oh
ours.
gosh,
So
it's the one where you have to. It's essentially capture the flag.
yeah. There's
Gooch is playing on the PC,
yes.
and
Yeah.
Devo's playing on PS4.
PS4. Yeah. So, I mean, just right off the bat, when at least in the PS4 version, when you load it, you get thrown into the main theme for this new Doom series, and the music alone got me so hyped for the game because it's so Nin-ish. It sounds like it's from the Burn era.
Mm-hmm.
It's very industrial. It's almost like Nin Burn meets Marilyn Manson's Resident Evil soundtrack. The music, fantastic.
Right.
You go into the game, the menu's whatever. It's a multiplayer beta.
So it doesn't matter
But
anyways.
you get some customization. So you can customize the way your character looks, the way your guns are. As you progress past level 1 for your character, you can customize your loadout, stuff like that. You hop into the game, and by all means, I'm on the PS4 console version, and not a very good shooter. It's for me, it wasn't a very good experience. Now, for me personally, whenever I play shooters on a console, it is much more difficult than playing it on the PC.
Right.
And control scheme's way
Right,
different,
right.
completely different experience. I feel first-person shooters should be strictly PC.
Yeah.
And the last time I played a first-person shooter, because Rainbow Six Vegas, when we were playing that was a third person, right?
Yes.
And the only first-person shooter, me personally, just my personal opinion, I ever played on the console that was fantastic was Call of Duty 2 Modern Warfare.
I believe Call of Duty
You mean part 4?
4.
Call of Duty Modern
4.
Warfare.
My bad.
Because you and I, we played the Army of Two, but that was third person.
Yeah, that's third person, and third person shooters on the console,
Are fine. They're
fantastic,
fine, yeah,
fantastic. I mean, you can get. It
But
feels
the
natural.
FPSs,
First
yeah.
person's,
Was the Call of Duty World at War the one that was multiplayer? Is that the one? It's not. I know that wasn't in Infinity Ward, but it was the other company that made that. But that one was actually solid too.
Well, it was on the same.
It was the same engine.
It was the same engine.
Yeah.
as
Right.
Call of Duty 4. So.
and at least in my experience, the team deathmatch, it wasn't anything special. What was nice is that as because you're all just Space Marines, right? And then you
Right.
run around, but you can get the Demon Rune. And if you get a Demon Rune, you can turn into, I don't know if it was a random demon, because whenever I played,
you chose.
okay,
You
because
chose. I think the only way you could choose at the very beginning, you could become a Revenant. A Revenant's the one with the skull and the missile launchers
yes,
and stuff. Yes.
okay. So at PS4, so it was a choice based on your level.
I'm assuming. I mean, I played like 4 rounds and I didn't really like it too much. So
Yeah.
I used to
So
play more,
for
I'll try
me,
it again, I guess.
I got to level 3, and I only had the choice to play
Yeah,
Revenant.
there'll probably be more later, but maybe that's the only one they left in beta. I didn't
Okay.
check. So
Yeah. So I mean, and plus, I only ever saw Revenant. I didn't
Yes.
see any
I
other
didn't see
any other
one. I
character.
always saw Revenants. Yeah.
So that was cool. The fact that you're playing a Doom multiplayer and you can be one of the demons, that's
Yeah.
interesting. But I mean, for a console shooter, the controls were subpar.
Yeah.
I felt like the weapons were not very powerful. I preferred the plasma rifle with the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
The sniper rifle was okay, but I'm used to most shooters where a sniper rifle, 1-2 shots, you're done. This one, I mean, unless you got a headshot, then it wasn't. They weren't. It wasn't like a 1-shot kill sort of thing. Plasma rifle, I felt was very, very weak.
Yeah.
There was a heavy rifle.
There was like heavy rifle. You can get like the minigun and like the shotgun and stuff
And the
like
shotgun.
That, yeah.
The shotgun, to me, see, and that's something too, is like with the original Doom series, and I'm not talking about Doom 3. I only played Doom 3 once, but Doom 2, every weapon felt like it was an upgrade from the other weapon.
Right.
And you start off with a pistol, then you get the assault rifle, and then you get a plasma rifle and a rocket launcher, and you could go. In this one, at least in the multiplayer, it just felt like, to me personally, no, the only major upgrade for the weapons were the second abilities that you can get from a weapon, or the damage damage per second.
Yeah, I'll bring that up in my analysis.
Yeah, so like plasma rifle would do a lot of damage per second, but it felt like, I don't know, like every shot would only take maybe like one piece of health or like a very, very little health.
Yeah.
The what was it called, light heavy rifle or the heavy rifle? Same thing. It didn't feel any different from the plasma rifle.
Yeah.
So the two rifles felt the same. The rocket launcher, I felt like there were so many situations where I would have a group of probably 2 or 3 guys in my sights. I'd blast a rocket and they wouldn't be dead. I'd blast another rocket and they wouldn't be dead.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible maybe I wasn't hitting them, but there should be splash explosion, splash damage.
I mean, isn't that the whole point with a rocket? You don't actually have to hit the being. You just need to like hit something near it.
You would think, but there was one game where I had a group of 3 dudes, and okay, actually that's a horrible example. Perfect example is I had at the very beginning of a game 2 guys that were still loading in, and so they were just sitting there. They weren't moving. I had a rocket launcher. I shot a rocket right between the 2 of them. They didn't die. Shot a second one.
They may have had immunity when they log in.
Oh, as you were logging in? Okay. Because it seriously it took like 4 rockets
most
before
of these
they died.
games have immunity when you're logging in. So.
But even still, like another example, a group of like 3 guys, I was just blasting rocket. Not one kill.
Yeah.
Not one kill. And then I threw a frag grenade, and then it happened to kill 1 dude.
Right.
And then I got an assist on the other 2. But the only weapon that I had that I really, really loved that I felt was not op, but it had the power was the Gauss rifle. I picked up the Gauss rifle, and it was a 1-shot kill. And boom, 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 I get a ton of kills. But in terms of like the weapons, they were just very, very underwhelming. Yeah. The maps were so underwhelming too. The console version, I only ever played on 2 maps.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 maps out there. So
and
at least for team deathmatches, that's when I played.
And they're so tunnel heavy too.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of open space. There's so many railings. There's so many like just tunnel pathways, and it wasn't open at all. It felt like it was very, very enclosed. And yeah, lastly, I mean the controls themselves. It's nice that you got a double jump, so you would jump, you do the double jump, and get a little booster up. If you jumped short of a ledge, at least the character would hold on to the ledge and pull himself up, so that was kind of nice. But for the most part, it's just, I mean, in terms of a multiplayer beta, very small. The weapons just had not enough variance to where I preferred one or the other. The only preference I had was the fact that the plasma rifle shot like blue balls of lightning or blue balls of plasma.
But you got blue balled when you were playing the game.
No doubt. No doubt. And I will say this personally, and again, just my opinion. You can tweet me all the fuck you want. The best aspect of this game is that main song from the very beginning.
As for the PC version, a little background on me. I'm a Doom fan. I always have been.
You're an id fan.
I am an id fan. I am an id
Wolfenstein.
fan. From Wolfenstein to everything they've made. I even played Rage, which wasn't very good.
It's saying Bethesda's publishing this game as id normally published with them.
Well, they joined together. I don't know whether one bought the other or either way. It's like they became one company. Or they're extremely loving to each other or something like that.
Sure. It's like Activision Ward, right?
Exactly.
Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
So they basically couldn't ask for a better situation in which to develop this game.
Right. So with it, I'm a fanboy. I really am. I love Doom.
Yeah.
So I was excited to find out that this they had an open beta. So the moment they got it, I downloaded it from Steam, playing it on my PC. Apart from the graphics and the way the game works, I understand it's beta, so I'm that's
trying to be forgiving.
Totally off of it because right now it's actually stuck on console graphics. It's like 60 FPS. Even I have a really good rig, so I'm playing at 1440. What is it? 1440p. So that's a 2556 by 1440.
Okay.
So it's really good.
Okay.
At 144 hertz, but it's stuck on console graphics. So regardless of that, I have to agree with Devo that the music is great. That I loved it.
Yeah.
When it first started. When I went into the game, what struck me first was that there's kits. If I'm an FPS guy, I know it. I mean, people you don't know. If you don't know how Quake ran, which was its multiplayer game, because Doom was never multiplayer in a way that you can fight against each other.
Is this the
Right.
first Doom game that has a multiplayer?
It is in this sense.
Yeah. So Doom 3 had you could play Doom and Doom 1,
Yes.
and those versions were multiplayer, but
they
it
were-
was story multiplayer.
It was co-op. Co-op and
Co-op, yeah.
multiplayer are two different things. Co-op is when you play with someone to defeat the game. Multiplayer is whether you have a team or you're playing against other people.
Gotcha.
Because I was going to ask you, like, do you think that the lackluster nature of the game is a function of maybe Doom not being the type of game that lends itself well to multiplayer?
Well,
but then
no,
you're saying
well,
that
let me-
this company made Quake.
let me explain. So the whole thing with the kits was that the kits are extreme, like a Call of Duty type thing, where you're an assault kit or you're in a medic or something
Yeah.
like that, and you have a certain weapons that you use no matter what.
It was like assault, sniper, and like ambush.
Exactly. So assault was you had a rocket launcher. You started with a rocket launcher and like some other or
I think
some
the
other
heavy
weapon
rifle.
or some heavy rifle, and the sniper was a sniper rifle and something else and whatnot. But the essence of these other games was that you literally started with a fucking pistol, and you would scour around the mazes to find these other weapons, right? And that's really the essence of Quake, Doom, Unreal, which is arcade shooters.
Yep.
These are arcade shooters. That's what they are. So the whole thing about hopping around, like when you brought up the whole thing with the rocket, the thing with a rocket, Devo, is that if you had those three guys, you don't aim at the guys. You aim at the ground.
Yep, and that's
So
what that's
exactly.
That's
all
what I was
you gotta do
doing.
is you aim at the ground. You just keep shooting, it's blasting at the ground until you get one.
But two rockets at most.
No,
right?
no, that's how it was because it's splash damage. I mean, if you hit the guy, like when I was playing, splash damage did. If it did the most damage, it did 55 damage to someone. If it did a little bit, 20 damage. But if you had a direct hit, it took like 75% of their damage. So that's how the thing worked, and that's fine because that's how it should work in the games.
Okay.
But I felt the way they made the game, it's like they didn't keep to what the game actually is for multiplayer. Like Quake, if they really wanted to make a Quake game for Doom, all they needed to make is like follow whatever Quake is and put a skin on it. Unfortunately, what they're doing here, I think they just followed too much what Call of Duty is, and you know, I mean, it works
Yeah.
for them because they have so many more weapons, and like
Gotcha.
you know, like an assault person has like literally 20 assault rifles they can choose from, and then all of them are
Yeah.
similar, but they have their own quirks that makes them work.
And maybe you'll get more in the full game.
Maybe,
but
but
in the beta, at least on the console version of the main loadouts you got, you can only unlock 2 other weapons.
yeah, and I feel that, you know, having the rocket launcher or like a flat cannon or something, finding that was one of the best weapons you could possibly get in the
Yeah.
game. Starting off at it felt a little bit cheap,
Yeah.
you know. So gameplay wise, I feel that they're kind of like selling themselves short, and id shouldn't be doing this. Id should stick to what people know about id,
Yeah.
and make it better. And what they did here is absolutely horrendous. Yeah, I honestly, it makes me not want to buy the game, you know. And I was reading reviews from other people. They're like, "This is garbage." They literally all they did was like they try to make us like even people are hating on how the Space Marine looks like.
It does look a lot like a
Halo.
Master Chief.
Yeah,
Halo.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, my problem is that, you know, Master Chief was pretty much what the Space Marine was.
Yeah.
And now what they're trying
Yeah.
to do is they're trying to copy what a copy of a copy. You keep it as a fucking Space Marine. You keep it as a guy that's in, you know, holding up the
demon head,
the
yeah.
demon head in on the top of the demons. You keep it that guy.
Sounds like a Nin song.
Yeah, really.
Copy of a copy
Yeah,
of a.
and I think they're letting their fans down with the multiplayer. I mean, I obviously haven't played the story mode. It might be great. It
So-
might be a great story.
Did I read correctly to where this game is going to be focused more on multiplayer and less on the single player campaign?
Well, multiplayer is where the money is. I mean, they're not only stuff in the $60 amount that's going to cost the game, but it's like a $49 or $40 season pass.
But fucking every game's doing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fine
But the
when
problem-
the game's done properly. I don't
Right.
mind paying it for
But
this game's done
the problem
properly.
is that Doom obviously is not a multiplayer game, and Doom shouldn't be about like the multiplayer should be for lack of a better term, a second thought. The main focus should be that single player campaign.
Yeah, no, I
Do you
totally
think that
agree with
that's the reason why this multiplayer
no
has been lackluster? Because it's possible that the single player mode will be as Doom has always been. And
I don't-
For me, that's a hope.
Yeah, me too.
That's a hope.
But
But
I'm just worried because you're saying that the controls themselves, like the fundamental, basis of the game is shaky. So, like, if you have these same terrible controls in multiplayer and you apply them to the single player,
well, I mean, the thing with like single player FPS games is that you're not you'll face mobs and stuff, but it's easier to handle in a single player campaign when you're playing multiplayer.
people coming at you from all
FPS
different
game,
angles and
it's
stuff.
a much different experience
It's
from
totally
console
different
to PC.
And
For multiplayer FPS, PC blows everything out of the water.
yeah. And for the controls, they're pretty much the standard arcade controls for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a little bit sluggish. That's because it's beta.
Right,
It had
yeah.
nothing to do with that. The controls were fine. My problem was the way they made the multiplayer. I think they thought that maybe people wanted the Call of Duty, the Battlefield, the Halo type thing. In reality, what they really wanted is the Quake. Just leave everything as Quake or Unreal Tournament. You pick up your weapons. You go out there. You kill people. You respawn. That's how it's supposed to be. I have no idea how single player is going to be. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
And because that's the only thing I could hope for at this point. And multiplayer is really bad.
The way I felt about this Doom multiplayer is the same way I felt about the Battlefront beta.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Battlefront was for me personally, the Battlefront beta was not good.
No, it wasn't good.
And to me, Battlefront in general, other than just being an absolutely gorgeous game, which is how I feel it should be,
yeah,
the game itself, the game mechanics, the utter engine of the game doesn't hold up to what Battlefront is.
yeah,
And to me, it let me down as a longtime Battlefront player and lover of the game.
And I'm you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like maybe it is possibly going the same way. I really hope somehow that the single player is absolutely fucking amazing to make up with this terrible multiplayer they're releasing.
I'm reading here that it says that the multiplayer is being developed in conjunction with a company called Certain Affinity. So maybe there's some aspects of the multiplayer that is not as much id as the single player will be.
Oh, okay.
But just also, and it also says that at launch, the game will feature 9 maps, but they'll be custom. You can make custom maps. And stuff
Right.
So.
Yeah, but again,
So do you think they're farming out the development of this multiplayer, and that is diminishing the?
It's possible.
oh yeah, definitely,
the
definitely.
quality.
Yeah, I mean, because who's that developer?
I don't even know what they've done.
It's called Certain Affinity.
Have they done anything?
Now, I mean, to be fair, I haven't been as close to the gaming industry
did
as
the
I
D-
want to be.
Okay, so they
But-
did the DLC for Halo 2. They did the
Halo-
multiplayer DLC
but Halo
for Halo
2
2, Call
Halo
of Duty
2 is
World at
great.
War, Left 4 Dead, Black Ops, Halo
What the hell?
Reach,
No wonder.
Halo 4, Call of Duty Ghosts.
But-
This is the first time they've worked on anything quite like this, but
But
They
to be
have a-
fair, you're listing off stuff that maybe in terms of a PC, fantastic.
No. I can see.
Although
what-
Left 4 Dead on the we had a ton of fun with the 360
no, but you know
on
what?
Left 4
I
Dead.
can see.
these are all console games except for maybe 5.
No, I can see.
They've only done PC ports a couple times.
I can see why the multiplayer is the way it is, and hopefully they'll get enough negative reaction from people for them to change it at this point, because it's extremely bad. I mean, if it's controlling the single player wholly, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Because they make great stories. I mean, the graphics I'm sure are gonna be great. Right now they're not too good because of the limitations, obviously.
Yeah.
But for right now, my review, it's actually a negative review. The
Me too.
multiplayer is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
It is terrible. And anyone that says, and I'm a fanboy by the way, I love Doom, and they're letting me down. just like how Dice and he let me down on Battlefront.
Battlefront, yeah.
That's how they let me down.
Like the thing that sucks about Battlefront is that there's no single player campaign. Like they're like single player modes, but it's essentially just a single player version of the multiplayer levels. So you're just facing mob after mob after mob.
Yeah,
It's not like with Doom, there's a story and you're just going through and destroying mobs to get to a certain point. Like with Battlefront, it's just a single player multiplayer level. And you just survive to the end. It's not like you're trying to get to a goal and do something and achieve something.
And we're bringing up Battlefront because they were both. It was such a disappointment for me, both me and Devo.
Yeah,
I love the other Battlefronts and the idea of Dice making a Battlefront game was great. Unfortunately, EA had their fucking nuts in a vice, and instead of making a great, it would have been better if it would have been a Battlefield skin. At least there would have been destructible things. It would have been a great. At least we would have had that.
Yep.
In this one, it's just a blind shooter, a blind FPS, and if Doom follows the same suit, it's going to be as bland as that. Yeah.
I can only hope that the single player is just fantastic.
I hope the
great
single player
story,
is
but-
great story. It's fantastic, and we've seen the story before.
Yeah.
Not to see that. I mean, because Doom 3 was just a remake of Doom 1, Doom 1 and Doom
And this
2.
one is like I don't think we mentioned this Doom is a reboot.
A reboot. So
They're telling the story from the beginning again.
It's a retelling of Doom. Doom 3 was a retelling of Doom as well. But since it's been 10
which is
years
weird.
since anyone's had any Doom,
more than 10. It's
11,
last one was 2004.
12 years. So
I can only hope that The Rock's character is in this game.
That would
Not
be
really.
fantastic.
all I want,
But people hate that movie for
all
some
I
reason.
want is
Fuck, I love it.
as
It's a
be as
fantastic
scary
movie.
and as
I'll review that one too.
commentary. Like it like made you play the game. So
They say
well,
that
dude.
I was reading here that they said that the game will not be as horror oriented as Doom 3.
Oh come on!
They want to make it closer to the originals.
Well, Doom 3. What Doom was? I mean, it was horror for the time.
I know that's what
Yeah.
they're saying here that they even
Because like Doom 3 had more like jump scare sort of things, right? And you're like walking around more dark corridors and
But
you
that
only have
was
a
good.
flashlight. Yeah, it was great.
I love Doom 3.
But I mean, I guess like
would you guys rather have them just made a single player Doom game and then made a separate Quake
yes.
game?
I would rather have
Yes.
them make Quake. Like I would rather have them Doom, and then made Quake Arena 4 or whatever the hell it might have been. Because they're pretty much essentially the same game. It's just Quake was the multiplayer version of Doom, and that's make Doom co-op. By the way, if Doom isn't co-op, that's it.
I don't know if it is.
Doom. If Doom isn't co-op, I don't know what the fuck it is thinking. Doom should be co-op, and
Yeah.
it should be the like damage co-op. Like if you're in my way and you shoot
And
me, and I kill you, hey man, that's my fault.
Get the fuck out of my way,
I
Lucho.
don't believe it's co-op.
Oh man,
It's
Ed,
a single,
what are you?
it's a single player
What are
multiplayer.
you doing, Ed? What are you doing? Anyways, so my review is a negative review at this point for the beta. Devo?
Beta sucks.
Yeah, negative 0.
I literally played the beta for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I played it for a while.
And I probably have no, there's really nothing about the beta that makes me want to go back and play again.
Yeah, honestly, I was really happy to buying it.
And it was the same thing with Battlefront too.
Yeah, so all right,
And
here we
I
go.
fucking
I
love
got
negative.
one last
All right.
question for you guys. Impromptu, your best first person shooter game of all time.
All
First-person
time.
shooter?
And
arcade or military, whatever.
Let's talk multiplayer because
Well,
that's
no,
what we're
no,
talking
okay,
about here.
For
This could be anything, but first-person
for
shooter.
me,
So
multiplayer.
you can take some time to think. For me, it's going to be Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2.
Fantastic
I think it
game.
was. Modern Warfare.
Almost a perfect game
For-
at the time, basically.
The reason being, that is the one game, even outside of Battlefront, because Battlefront was only 2 players.
Yeah.
The Call of Duty, that was the one where we would play at your apartment,
Yes, sir.
4 players, and even a PC dude was hopping on the
Even Gooch played, and
was
he
playing on
hates the console.
jumping on the sticks,
Hates it.
having a good time, and was able to compete.
But that was awesome in the PC version of it, though. So
I know, you're
Right, but the console version was great as well.
it was really good.
And we were able to convert a PC guy to be able to play with us and have a good time. And for me personally, that's the one.
My number one first-person shooter game, and I'll let Gooch go last because his game that he picks is probably going to have more validity than ours. because he plays them like that's your thing.
Yeah.
My favorite first-person shooter game of all time is Unreal Tournament on the PC. I loved
it's a
everything
great
about
game.
it. The different modes. I've never
Loved
played a
it.
game that had like capture the before this. I don't know if games did, but I had never. We had LAN party. And we played Unreal Tournament. We just played it for like a day
great.
straight, and
Yep.
it had capture the
Arcade shooters,
flag.
yeah.
It had all the different modes, and the maps were great. The movement was great, and the graphics were really good for the time.
98, 99.
Yeah.
But
the cool thing was that you didn't have to have like the best computer to run it.
no.
So anyone could run it with their system for the most part, and it was just a great, fantastic game.
And since it was an arcade shooter, it was literally anyone could pick it up and you start shooting people because it wasn't. You know, it's like it was easy to learn and stuff.
And when you have like 10 guys in the same room
yeah.
landing, and you're playing capture the flag 5-on-5, it's just I mean. This is one of the greatest things in gaming that I've had in my life.
And by the way, they are going to release an Unreal Tournament 2016 pretty soon. So
Really?
My one thing with Unreal Tournament, it wasn't that good on the console.
No,
the PC version is the one I'm talking
Unreal
about.
Unreal Championship.
The Unreal
That one was good.
Championship was good.
But they had like swords and stuff.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, that's what the Unreal
That's what
Championship
was
was. It was
yeah.
a third-person version
it was
of that.
really good. That was really
Yeah.
fun. I liked it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Remember even the anti-grav level on Unreal Tournament? It was so great.
What was that? It was
Because you would like jump from platform to platform, right?
Yeah.
And that was before Halo.
Yeah, it was way before Halo.
That's to me. Halo just
Way
ripped off
before
Unreal
Halo.
Tournament, as far as I'm
Of
concerned.
course, dude. For me, I would have to say Call of Duty 4 is up there, but the one that I had the most fun in, because I played, people are gonna say Battlefield 2 is probably the greatest one, maybe Call of Duty 4, or a lot of people are gonna say, what is it? Shit,
Left 4 Dead.
not Left 4 Dead at all. What the hell is that called? I forgot what it's called. A CG. What is it called? Well, whatever. For me, I would say it would have to be Battlefield 2142. Because it took in Battlefield 2, the chopper horse and the air horse were too strong. You couldn't really do much about them.
Okay.
Because I've always been more of an infantry and a tank guy, right? And with the chopper guys, since there wasn't much anti-air in Battlefield 2, it was hard to go against them. But in 2142, what they did is that they reduced that and allowed more of the power back into the infantry and into the tank, into the armored infantry, and it was so much fun. I had never played a game where I'd had so much fun playing.
Yeah.
And then, and in Call of Duty 4, it was more of the faster movement. And I'm really good. That's what I'm really good at infantry. And that's what I'm really good at. I'm the really fast movement. I had the most. But
I've watched Gooch play Call of Duty, and like I can't even believe what was happening. Like this guy is like telling me how he's gonna kill people before he kills them, and then laughs about it. Seriously, like it's like okay, I think I'll kill that guy with a grenade, or I think I might hit this guy with a rocket. Like like he knows what people are gonna do before they even do it. It's crazy. It really is crazy.
Especially in Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare in Part 2. But in those were faster shooters.
Remember the knife ones? You're like, I'm just gonna go knives now.
Well, I
was like, you won the whole thing with people have guns. You only have a knife. That was like the funness thing for you.
Remember, I told you I was gonna go like what is that Mayan movie? What is it called?
Apocalypto.
Apocalypto. I'm like watching this. I'm gonna go Apocalypto on this fool. I'm just going pop.
People were not happy about that.
No. I've been banned.
They're like this fool's what do they call it when
hacker,
you hacking?
hacker,
This was
yeah.
hacking.
Yeah.
It's almost like when we were playing Jedi Outcast, and I was just running around backwards.
That's a great.
We're gonna finish it. We're gonna finish the
No,
show
that's
with
the
that
third
story.
person one.
All
right.
We'll finish the story with that.
So for me, my favorite overall, Call of Duty 4 was a close second. By the way,
Yeah.
I love Call of Duty 4. It was genre changing, that one.
That's my number 2 on the list. By the
Yeah,
way,
genre changing. My number 2.
then number 2.
But Battlefield 2142 for me, by far, and I'm waiting for DICE and E to make like a Battlefield 2152, like a second part of this, because it's the future, but there's no laser gun still, so it's still like
Okay.
so it still feels like very very like human.
Yeah.
Like a Gears of War's ish
like
type
a Gears
thing.
War,
Right.
like in,
It's
like
like
in
there's no
Battlefront, it's like
lasers, but
and shit like that. But this
yeah.
one's actually like there's still guns and stuff.
Mhm.
The 2142, by far, I think I had the best experience because I had both the tanks and I played Battlefield 4, 3,
They have
and all
vehicles.
and vehicles. I loved 2142.
All right, Devo. Time
So-
for story time with
Alright.
Devo.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
This was the same LAN party when we were playing Unreal Tournament.
Oh, it was.
This is the same one.
It was.
Oh,
it was.
yes, it
So
was.
I remember. So I don't remember why I was out, but I remember coming in and I knew everybody was at the apartment playing, and it was 5, 6 people.
No, there was like,
There was a
I don't know
lot,
how many people were
dude.
at the time. They were
Maybe
there by the
there's
time
8
you
then.
got
There's
there.
8.
But there was at least 10 to 12 computers there.
At the time,
Right.
yeah.
Because all his brother's friends were, all Gucci's brother's friends were there.
That's
and everyone,
right,
Like Norm
yeah.
and all them were, Llama and all them were there
yeah.
too.
Okay, that's right. So I remember walking in. Everybody's at the computers playing a game. And I see a bunch of lightsabers. I'm like, oh, what are you guys playing? And they're like, oh, we're playing Jedi Outcast 2. I'm like, I fucking love this game.
Fantastic game, by the way. One of
It
the
was-
best multiplayer sword swinging games ever.
Fantastic
Great,
multiplayer,
game.
great single player, regardless.
Yeah,
I played it
great-
before. I loved it.
Great Star Wars game.
The fantastic thing about this game is it was one of the first times where you had a third-person melee where you could choose different styles. You had a light
Yeah.
style, medium style,
Loved it.
and heavy style. And one thing that I learned as I was playing playing the multiplayer is with the medium style, if you would run backwards, not necessarily run, but if you were moving backwards, and you didn't attack,
Yeah.
you would do this sort of move where you would take your lightsaber, stab it behind you, and it was an insta kill.
Yes.
And so I'm watching everybody play, and everybody's having a good time. They're all singing around, and somebody had to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, hey, I'll hop on for you while you go to the bathroom. I don't know if it was Gooch or somebody,
I don't know.
but I hopped on. Everybody's running around the map doing their thing, and then all of a sudden you see, I think I was playing as Luke Skywalker, ironically.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker just running backwards. I'm just running backwards. I'm just hitting S. Just running backwards. Some fool comes behind me. I hit the mouse button. Boom. Lightsaber behind me. Insta kill. Boom. Insta kill. Insta kill.
Yeah.
I hopped on for maybe in 30 seconds, I got to the top of the list because I was just one hit killing everybody. And then I ran into Mark.
No. Even before that, other people started to pick up on what you were
Well,
doing
no,
and understand
right,
how to do it.
Right. But I run into Mark. I do this to Mark.
Oh.
And he's like, what the and like,
Explain his affinity for Star Wars games
So
and how he must be good.
Mark, Mormon, God bless his soul.
Exactly.
Fantastic human being.
Yes.
Thinks he is number one when it comes to Star Wars. We would play X-Wing LAN, and this will always be a fucking A-Wing. But for some reason, he would own fools, and he
was
thought
good
that
at it.
he was good at X-Wing, and he would own fools in his stupid A-Wing.
Yeah.
Then I come in, running backwards, getting my insta kill. Boom, boom, boom. I hit Mark. He's like, "What? What is it?" So, again, as Clint said, people noticed that I was running backwards, and even when I was moving forwards and I was attacking, every style has a certain stance.
Yeah.
So, light holds a lightsaber in a certain way, medium holds it in a certain way, heavy holds it in a certain way. People were noticing that I was in the medium stance.
That's right.
And even when I attacked forward, I was attacking at that multiple stance. And they're like, well, if he's in medium, he's running backwards. Let me try that. And then guess what? People started picking up on it. About 5 minutes later, everybody's running backwards on the map, just stabbing the shit out of each other. It
Yeah,
became
medium,
one-hit
yeah,
kill
yeah.
fucking melee party. Except for one person, Mark.
At the bottom of the standings.
The bottom of the standings, Mr. Star Wars himself.
Yeah.
Then it got to the point to where I noticed he was the only one not running backwards. So who was my target?
Yep.
I would chase after him on the fucking map, going backwards, stab, stab, stab. It got to the point to where a Mormon, God rest his soul, does not swear, does not drink alcohol. He only drinks root beer, becomes the root beer man, gets drunk and crazy. Slammed his mouse down, said, "Fuck this shit," and stormed out of the room.
No, it's funny because this fool was telling us, he was telling everyone, he was like, how are you guys doing that? We were telling him, all you got to do is move backwards
And attack.
Yes,
But he didn't get the thing about the stances.
No, he got it. We're like, dude,
We're all in the medium stance.
we're like,
just run
push
backwards
you.
and attack.
We're like, put yourself in medium stance, motherfucker, and move back and attack. That's all we're doing.
Right. And before he stormed out, he's like, Devo, how do you do this? How do you do this? I'm like, figure it out. Everybody else did.
And we were telling him too. No, at the end, after that, we told him like, Mark, look at this. This is how we're doing it. We're moving back with medium stats and we're attacking people. And this was it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. I'm like, dude, you know what? Whatever, man. I'm gonna play. You do whatever you want. And then he went over there and how are you doing it? And you told him to fucking figure it out. And that's where he got pissed.
He lost it. He slammed his mouse down and said, he literally said, and I quote, fuck this shit.
He did.
Got up and ran out.
He did.
This is a Mormon we're talking about.
Mormon.
Not one of those like half believers.
He
Like, this fool's
loves the Jesus.
That's right.
serious.
Well, to be fair, at that time he was a half believer,
um,
dressed in all black, listening to Nin all the time.
well,
Yeah.
And we were at the Nin concert. He's like, oh, "Fuck your God." But anyway,
so after that happened,
about maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes later, Clint pulls off the headphones, looks around. Well, where's Mark? And I'm sitting there playing, running backwards, stabbing fools. Oh, yeah, Mark just got up and left. It's like, well, why? I'm like, because I was killing fools, and he asked why, and I told him to figure it out. I wouldn't tell him. And Clint's like, beep, boop, 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 calls up Mark on the phone. And Clint, how did Mark answer the phone?
his voice was trembling because he had been sobbing and he was doing the hope he dies.
He might as well have been doing that, believe me. I'm sure he was thinking it.
So I told him to come back up. And by this time, we've been playing games on the LAN party for hours, maybe a day straight.
Yeah, we had stopped by the time he came back.
Yes.
Yeah,
By the time we
so-
get down, we had stopped and took a break, and we were playing this.
We were playing Star Wars Epic,
Epic
Duels.
Which is a great game.
Fantastic Star Wars board
Still
game.
have that game, don't you?
Yep.
Yes.
Somewhere.
Fantastic game.
Somewhere
It's
around
a
here.
fantastic board game.
If you could get that game, you should buy it and play it.
Yeah, yeah. So we're playing the game, and to be fair, like this is the kind of board game where it's very, very even. I mean, if you can get one character, it really depends on the draw of the card where you can actually dominate. But for the most part, fairly even game.
Yes.
We're playing. Mark comes back. He's
Eating Taco Bell.
Eating Taco Bell. Oh, shit. He's calmed down a little bit. He decides to hop in. I'm like, oh, hey, man, after what happened after Jedi Outcast, you want to play some of this? You want to play some of this with the Devo? All right, get on in here.
Get out of here.
And regardless, we're playing. It gets to a point where I think it was only me and him left on the board.
Yeah.
Yes,
We were the last two
definitely.
people.
This
Yeah,
is
it
what
was
happened.
just-
And
Yeah.
I think I was Han and Chewie, and he was Vader. And it got to a point to where he got that right loadout with his cards, putting the cards down, realizes the final card he has to put down is going to put me out of the game, stands up, slams that card down on the table, says, and then, knocks me out of the game. And like, that was his retribution. I'm like, all right, cool. You got me.
It was funny, dude.
I'm like,
It was emotional.
I was like, were you running backwards and doing that shit? But yeah, so that was the story of Mark and I. Yeah.
How many years ago was that? It's a lot.
Gosh.
15? Probably about 15.
Man.
Yeah, I think 15
No,
is solid.
Not so much.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah, 15.
We were in our early 20s.
Probably like 2001 or so. 2002.
Yeah.
Would be 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's 2016.
We're old.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah. So I think that's gonna do it for this Doom beta review and story time with Devo.
That's right.
Lucho and I have had a horrible experience with the Doom beta.
I fucking hate it, dude.
Let us know if you do too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let us know.
Or you
man.
don't.
Give us-
Yeah, or let us know what you feel
Yeah,
about
let us
the
if
Doom
you
beta.
agree or you don't agree, man.
Drop it in the
Shit.
comments. Drop it on our Facebook. Drop it on the Twitter. Drop it on the Instagram. Drop it on the Tumblr. Drop it on my dick. I mean,
Drop it like it's hot.
yeah. So I think it's gonna go ahead and do it for this episode.
See you guys later.
Adios.